a country boy would be well suited for you. And no offense, I think she has the upper hand. I would level that out a little bit.
You think?
Fact.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Blackbird 91. That is so painful to see that even your own parents believe that, you know what, Alexa runs you and has all the power in the relationship, but her own dad called her out on the dinner table in front of everyone and said, if it was me, I wouldn't have it. Imagine. Listen, we're going to talk a little bit about Alexa and Brennon and why this is a very important in your relationship, specifically for us as men. And some women will say, you know what, it's fine, we don't mind. But the reality is there is an issue behind this, right? Of course, some relationships are the exception to the rule where the woman ruling or the woman being in a position of dominance or power in the relationship does work. But in this instance, I'm going to be very honest with you, this could rub up really badly because even the father is looking at it and going, nah, you need to actually check that. And the dad and the mum on his side are also looking at it going, yeah, there needs to be conversation around this as well because, bruh, we've seen it ourselves from the outside. And if they can see it from the outside without them being in the relationship, we saw it from the outside watching the show and having a unique perspective into their relationship. We already know that the parents are absolutely right and they have a great vision. And this is why I said about having people who speak into your life. And I talk about Nancy's situation, having different perspective and having the safety of the counselors in the multitude because they can give you an elevated viewpoint to what you're seeing. They have years of experience and they can oftentimes see into your relationship in a different dimension than what you can. You are somebody on the ground. They are like an eagle in the sky. They're looking at things from a bird's eye view, and you may not see it that way because you're seeing yourself as I know it, I know it, I know it. But the reality is, they can see from a different dimension, and you should really take into consideration if they love you and they care about you and they are sound in their judgments, and you know if they are or not. Then you might want to listen to what they got to say. But let's break down some of the stuff on this video. If you're new to the channel, like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of the uploads. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked and stay loaded. And for those of you who are returnees, when know what it is, baby, you got the minerals. You got the minerals. Stay hydrated because the streets out there are hot. Let's get into the video. Before we do, let's drop a little intro and then we'll get the show flowing. Little black, you know what time it is. 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 All right, cool. So, talking about Alexa and Brennan and why I believe this situation can be problematic for a lot of people in relationships is simply this. There's a story in the Bible of Abraham and Sarah. Abraham is, well, Father Abraham had many sons. And Abraham has been given a vision. You're going to have a kid one day, my brother. Okay? You're going to have a kid. Don't worry about it. I know you're 86 now, but you're going to have a kid, my brother. Yeah? And Abraham's like, I can't believe it. You sure? Da, 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 da. Right? He goes back, tells his wife, Sarah, and Sarah goes, I don't know if I believe this story. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think it's going to happen. Sarah then goes on to listen to what I just about to say to you because it's very important to what we're going to say about Alexa and Brennan. Sarah then suggests onto Abraham, we should have a kid. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. Take my maid Hagar, sleep with her, have a child, and then we'll bring about what God has said to you. Abraham's like, I don't know. She's like, yeah, go on. And he does it. Okay. He ends up doing it. They have a kid. Kid gets around about 13. And the mother has been a little bit spiteful to the mother of Hagar has been a little bit spiteful to Sarah. Sarah can't hack the spitefulness. Sarah decides then to say to Abraham, see what you've done? You've caused this issue in our family. You've allowed this woman to disrespect me in a different kind of way. Not realizing that she's the one that told Abraham to go and get Hagar. Not realizing she gave over her maid to Abraham and said, yeah, you go for it. You go and sleep with her and bring about that kid. That wasn't Abraham. That was Sarah. But do you know what? She ended up blaming him. Let me tell you something now, men. Let me tell you something really clear. And ladies too, let me tell you something, right? When it's all said and done, you get blamed. Men, you get blamed. Right? When it's all said and done, women tend to blame us for the stuff going wrong. If you're not a narcissist, you're a manipulator, you're an abuser, you know what I mean? He never loved me, he never cared for me, you know, he never did this, he never did that, he never did this. We will always seemingly get the blame when the thing goes wrong. Do you know why? Because you've been called into a position of leadership and you cannot vacate the leadership role. If things go wrong, we look at the leader as to why the thing is going wrong. Whether you're there or not makes no difference. You've been given a role. This is from a biblical standpoint, right? And so Adam has been given a role where he is supposed to lead his wife and doesn't. And then the snake talks to his wife, and then she ends up eating the fruit from the tree. What has all of this got to do with Alexa and Brennan? Let me tell you why it's got something to do with Alexa and Brennan. Alexa and Brennan situation. The dad called it out beautifully and said, "Hey, look, I can see that she runs things in this place." And the issue is that when she leads, if she makes mistakes, eventually you're going to be accountable. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, no. You think you're getting away with it. No, no. When she starts making mistakes, if let me say that if, because not everyone does. So let's say if, because some people are going to make it through. Some relationships where the woman leads are going to work. But if something starts going wrong in this relationship, if things start going wrong in the relationship, let me not say mistakes. Things start going wrong in this relationship, right? When you start feeling disenfranchised, and the reason why oftentimes men end up in that situation is because they got less assertive energy. The reason why the woman often takes control in that relationship is because they have less assertive energy. And oftentimes those men are passive aggressive when it comes to their communication styles. That is why the woman often takes over, because she has more assertive energy and is more willing to communicate in an assertive manner and tone, and therefore and therefore she oftentimes takes the reins and the leads within the relationship. Now, she might just be a better communicator and talker, and that's why they're seeing that, but they're seeing something. They've known her for a long time, and they knew that she's running things. And the parents, too, know that she's running things. Because what she's doing is that she's running ahead of Brennan. And that's how the parents know, because the parents can see the energy by the way that she interacts. She interacts by going ahead of Brennan. Now, Brennan might not care because that's his energy. He's a bit more laid back, more chilled, and that could make it work. So I'm not saying that it doesn't. I'm giving a caveat, and I'm just saying that it can work. What I'm saying is a lot of times it doesn't work because eventually the pride and the ego within a man gets disenfranchised and gets touched upon and gets triggered, and then that then leads into a fight. But if you're passive aggressive, you're not communicating effectively, because when you're passive aggressive, you're not calm and assured, and when you speak up, right? You speak up from a place of defense and anger and fear and worry and anxiousness, because you're trying to fight a fight instead of actually saying, "Hey, look, can I be honest with you? I don't like what you're doing here." Because you're scared of what will happen if you speak up. You're scared that when you speak up, there's going to be consequences that you won't benefit from, right? Rather than just going, "Actually, I just got to say it because at the end of the day, I don't like XYZ." Or, "I don't think we should be doing XYZ. Or, "Let's take XYZ decision." Now, we have this conversation on our channel quite a bit, and women hate this word submission. But I said this before. I said, good leadership promotes good followership, right? Good leadership, people want to be invested in. Women want to be led. But if you allow them to lead and things go wrong, they're going to blame you. "Oh, he didn't love me enough. He didn't protect me enough. He didn't care for me enough. He didn't feed me enough. You know what? Like he wasn't man enough for me." You're going to get all of these excuses. I'm telling you now, you must take control of the reins of the ship. Now, some women are not going to like this message, and I don't really care, because I know it's needed. Because when it ends go and when it goes wrong, we have, for instance, when I have a lot of conversations with Black Americans, and we talk about the divorce rates, 70%. Who are we blaming? Women. But women, who are women blaming? Us. They're the ones divorcing us at 70%, but they're blaming who? Us. Inevitably, the blame will come back onto, even no matter how much you blame her. Adam did the exact same thing. He blamed Eve in the garden, but the thing was that the punishment came to him. It was like, "No, you hearkened onto your wife. Therefore, here is a punishment. Do you notice the scripture in Genesis 3 says, Adam, you hearkened onto the voice of your wife, not Eve hearkened onto the voice of Adam. Says you hearkened onto the voice of her. So you were supposed to lead and you didn't lead. And now we're in the situation. We're both in it, but now we're in the situation. And now we've got a punishment coming. So the reality is the situation will always fall on your neck. You cannot avoid it by being passive in your movements. And passivity oftentimes leads to silence. It leads to a less honest relationship. I'm sure she's not afraid to tell him exactly how she feels. She will, right? She'll tell him exactly how she feels, right? And I think that is why he was so angry about the Zay and what's his name again? Why is his name gone out my head? He will come back to me about but Zay and whatever the name is, right? He was so angry about the way that he treated her over the the oranges or whatever, right? He was so trying to defend her. And I was like, why are you be so vexed about it? It's because, let me tell you the reason why he's probably so angry about it, right? It's not because he doesn't like the guy. Can I be honest with you? It's not that he doesn't like the guy. He sees himself in the guy. Or I should say he sees himself in Zay, sorry, not the guy. He sees himself in Zay as a victim, right? Can't stand up for yourself, can't speak up. And you know what? I've been mistreated. I'm a victim. But the reality was that's not the full story. My man chose a side without really fully understanding and deepening the actual story. He chose a side. He needs to come out of the passivity and start being active and start being assertive with clear-cut communication, effectiveness. You don't have to apologize for your thoughts and your feelings. You don't have to put responsibility of others' behaviors on your shoulder. You can speak up and tell people, hey, don't interrupt me. I'm still talking, and let your point be across and not be rude. You can be clear in asking for what you want rather than being passive. The reason why emotions in this sense can be clouded instead of it being objective. But if you're not able to talk and say how you feel, you can find yourself in a position where you're silenced. Go along with ideas that you don't actually want to go along with, and actually you can become passive in how you fight the other person. I'm telling it right now. That's what I'm saying. Hey, this might be a beautiful relationship. This might actually work with her being a lead, but she's more of the assertive energy, and it shows. Both your parents are seeing it and commenting upon it. Meaning, take stock, listen, Brennon, because if you'll find yourself in a situation where you will be blamed at the end if this doesn't go right. If it goes right, fantastic. If it doesn't, you still are going to get the blame. So you'd rather be in the position of taking over the wheel. And if the car crashes, then being in the passenger side of your best friend's ride trying to holler at me and the car still crashes. Because you're gonna know that you didn't crash. You're gonna know that you didn't crash the car yet. When the car crashed, she's still blaming you. Which means what? Get into the driving seat. Stop being so passive. Like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of uploads. Listen, if you want some coaching, shout at me, get at me as well. I appreciate you. I think I'll leave it for another video, but I want to say this little part caveat and last point is that a lot of women will say, I don't mind being a more assertive one in this aspect. Why can't women be the more assertive one? And then simultaneously say, why can't men be great leaders? Why can't men lead? Why can't men do this? Why can't men do that? The reality is you're in his position. Get out the way. Get out of his way. Let him get in that position. Get out the way. Women will tell us, oh, women do everything, and then we're tired, and you expect us to do this as well. You want to go 50-50, and then, do you know why? Because you're in somebody else's position. Get out the way. So you know how hard it is to be in a position where where you can't think about anything else apart from providing, making sure everybody else is okay, protecting the family. You know how tiring that is to play that role. So you understand that you don't want to be in that position. So let's not pretend that we want to be in that position, but because we want to defend where we stand with it. No, you want to let him lead. You want to be led by a competent, accomplished leader who cares, loves, and appreciates you. Simple as. Like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of uploads. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked, stay later. We'll see you again very, very soon. All right? It's going to be made.